Um, Welcome to the bonus show.
Yeah.
Welcome to the bonus man cast, where we have additional fun and review how our last week or so's gone.
Yep.
Any changes with how getting the video out there, and just reflections or comments we're seeing.
Well, just right now, I mean, what I've been mainly hearing from a lot of the people that I've shown and, family, other friends, coworkers, they've all said that, lighting. So we added some lighting. So we'll probably be a lot brighter than we were last time. I'll be working on the audio side of things. I have some suggestions from people who are very much into that side of things. One of them, he was a audio and video technician for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be using him as my big crutch on that one to help us out. So as I started talking to him about this, and he's all for it. I mean, I talked to you on the phone about him. He's been working on some stuff. Maybe we'll get him in here soon. Kind of want to have him meet Brayden here for first and see how everybody meshes. He's a great guy. Great dude.
Yeah.
Father of 2 kids. Yeah, 2 kids.
Likely an old theater student.
I actually honestly don't know. He played football.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
might be wrong. I apologize. I've been up. My work schedule is being dialed back a little bit because I'm being told to dial it back. But I'm still waking up at 3 a.m. So,
is that like natural clock, or is that natural clock plus now Odin's clock?
Natural clock, because Odin, my dog, he will still be sleeping in a corkscrew position, just passed out.
Okay.
And then I actually have to get him up. Hey, let's go for, to get you outside for a little bit before I have to leave. And yeah, it's the weekends where he's got his own, natural clock and he sees the sun.
And you're trying to sleep in those days.
Oh, every morning at 6 o'clock, he will jump onto the bed and smack me in the face. I have scars on my face from him. Just
big dogs. Yeah.
His paw is that big around. So, comparison. See if I can do this. Okay, let's go there. So his paw is that big. I mean, you've hung out with him. His paw is it's massive, and he just wake up, Dad.
I'll have to throw up some Odin pics.
Yeah, definitely.
Circling back, I brought up the theater kid thing because a lot of people's journey into audio engineering are the theater kids who don't want to be on stage, but
theater techs.
Yeah, the techs.
Yeah.
That or rock band.
Oh yeah.
Or the 2 paths.
Oh yeah. This guy, he worked for Microsoft for a while. Originally from Texas. Came up here, working with me now for the last few years. But me and him had some really in-depth conversations about how we're doing. Different life things have happened between us both. We've both been there for each other in different ways. Just, soundboards off of each other. So he's been he's actually become a real staple in my life at this point.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, what happened last year between my dog, my family dog of 8 years, getting killed by another dog. And then weeks after that, my grandfather passing. And then literally a week and a half after that, my truck gets hit by a drunk driver. That happened in a span of 6 weeks. I was not in a very good headspace at that time.
Good old when it rains, it pours.
And then the year just kept going and piling on with all types of other shit. I mean, I know we're going to talk about at some point, we're going to talk about different hormones and different moods and stuff like that. But I experienced for the very first time anxiety attacks. And trying to navigate that was difficult. And I, unfortunately, I lost my way on a lot of stuff at that time. And, I found out who my real friends are at that point because I was going through some serious shit, and actually being able to talk about what I was going through was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked with you about it. I talked with Mike about it. A little bit with Austin, a few other guys and girls, and I really figured out last year who really has my back, and that was difficult, but oh well, I guess at this point.
I think that we have a pretty good and like awesome friend group when it comes to our D&D group.
Oh yeah, yes, we all play Dungeons and Dragons. We've been playing D&D now for how long?
The same amount of years.
Same amount of years to know each other. So coming up on 8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I've been playing it longer because I started playing Dungeons and Dragons with my dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
I played the original Dungeons and Dragons.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very. I think we're pretty flexible and like and caring, and like I'm not sure how to put it into words exactly, I guess. But I remember like there were some days you couldn't make it because of going through stuff.
Yeah.
And just like the encouraging message that like we still miss you.
Oh yeah.
And happy to have you if you can make it.
Yeah.
But that like take as much time as you want and need, and we're here if you ever need us.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to like put that down into like a defining sentence of like what that is necessarily. But I remember seeing it and being like, "Well, what an awesome group of friends!"
Yeah,
and, grateful for that. Yeah.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of different descripting words that we can use for that, but honestly, through you guys specifically,
genuine, kindo, awesome rhinoceros.
Why is rhinoceros in there?
Because we go hard like rhinoceroses.
Okay. Rhinoceroses. Oh, jeez.
We're tough like rhinoceroses, obviously.
Oh boy. No, but it was
To sweeten up this moment.
Yes. This is after Valentine's Day. We decided to remind each other that we were going to go get, or you reminded me that we were going to go get the discounted Valentine's Day candy and taste test it.
I think so. We got a few different things. There's chocolates. There's the hearts.
My favorite.
The
chalky goodness.
Some of the I am convinced.
Oh, this is your fun dip thing.
I'm convinced that everyone knows how good Fun Dip is. That either it was all bought up before clearance, or the people moving around the clearance aisles also know how good Fun Dip is.
So they're just stashing it.
So they just took it rather than putting it somewhere.
So you're saying the store employees are stashing it and hiding it from you because they want it.
Maybe not hiding it and stashing it from me, but they're also aware of how good it is.
So they're hiding it for themselves.
So they got the first dibs.
The dibs on the dip.
On the clearance dip. On the dip.
Oh, all right. Where do you want to start first? Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, my week has been good. So you pick the first one. I'm going to ask you how your week was.
I just want some of this generic chocolate. I'm like, oh, this is caramel in it though. No, that's.
Don't read out the brand name. Here, you're gonna need to cut that open.
It's not Sussel Rover.
You fucking idiot.
It's not.
It's not. So, oh, we're already gonna get canceled. Oh boy. So your week was good?
Yes, it was a little busier. Just because, like, I also don't know necessarily what to do with myself with extra time, so I just like work more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends up being like I feel tired because I've just been working a lot.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, no, we're going through some weird stuff at work right now. Different management changes. I mean, I just recently lost my not lost. That's a very bad way to describe it. Very good friend of mine. He had to move to a different state because of family issues and other things. So he was my friend. He was my mentor. He was my boss for the last 7 years. And he went back home to be with his family because they needed him. And he's running the family business now, which is great. It's awesome on his part. But now I'm dealing with the fact that I have different managers to contend with, some managers that I am ultimately convinced that they just plain don't like me because of who I am. I'll tell them how it is like, hey, you need to go do this, this, and this real quick. Or not real quick. You need to do it like right now, ASAP. It's like, I've been told multiple times that there are other priorities ahead of this. So why is this constantly switching? And it's like my new supervisor, and he's a good dude. He's great. I mean, it almost feels like I am training my boss, which is very odd to me. Is like, why didn't you guys just give me the position at that point?
Well, then they wouldn't have you to train someone else.
But that's the point, is giving me that position so I would be the trainer.
No, not from the company. When I put on my, I come from like family business and like some small business and entrepreneurship stuff. When I put on my like I'm the boss man hat.
You have one of those? We're going to make you one.
We should make one. I'm the super boss man.
Oh, these are cold, so it's like super tough
no,
to get through.
I didn't warn you on that one.
Oh. Ow. It's not delicious, but...
When you put on that hat, it's more important to have multiple trained people with X skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And you really don't necessarily care too much what games you have to play to set up a scenario where you can incentivize getting that done. And so there's, I think, a lot of times when people like argue for the side of business, I think they're putting more on their like, oh, this is how a business, like, if businesses were like traditional and like follow certain pathways, like this is the normal thinking of what businesses should be highlighting and promoting based off of. But I don't think the actual overlap, it's not, I think it's when you're in the opposite shoe, when you're like the business owner, you have it isn't as like, it's more about either having the staff or the bottom, like having a good bottom line, and most things in the playbook to get there are on the table. And that can be a gnarly game sometimes. Yeah, no, I completely get that, but still, it just feels weird. I'm training my boss because he's coming up and asking me how we're doing certain things. But but that's the thing, because I got so upset of the fact that I wasn't given that position. I just went with it and didn't say anything. Because at that point, I didn't want the emotional side of me to overpower what was going on in that situation. Because I had some things to say. And one, I honestly just didn't want to get fired at that point. But
we'll see how it goes.
It's hard to know your worth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of data points that are, especially when you're like a everyday worker, that are told that are not normal to bring up, or there's a lot of data points often missing between like knowing you and your like worth. And sure, there's a part of, if you got 100% of your worth, then the company is not technically making any money off you personally. And part of a company is that it creates more sum than all its parts. So most companies, how they're structured, they need to be making something off your team and worth, and they can't pay you that like exact number at the end. That being said, a lot of them, and I don't know like your specific situation or not, but a lot of companies are cool too if you're getting like 20% of your worth. If you don't know the difference between 20 to 50% and 20 to like your full percent, they're cool with like just starting it as low as you can get.
They're trying to protect their profit margin. I get that. I understand that. Yeah. But at what point does it really matter about what the person knows running that department?
And a lot of times you don't truly know that, and it's not apparent.
Yeah.
If that person's still there. And there have been like years when I've done work where I'm like, I do feel like under like appreciated and whatnot. And because I'm so close with like my family and some of those ties, I get to see like the flip side of that, and we can kind of come to some like agreements, and then there's like the shared family aspect.
Yeah. No, this company, they started as a small, mom and pop, and in the last 8 years, they've been growing into a big corporation. It's like 8 years ago, they started moving out of Denver metro area down into Texas, Oklahoma. Just recently, in the last couple of years, we've moved our business and what we provide out to Utah, Tennessee. We even have we've done work for JFK, all the way out there.
Yeah. For
the airport itself. So, but they're at that point right now where they're really focusing in on that transition. It's going to take a very long time. Transition of going from a mom and pop and those core values and changing it towards the corporation side of things. So that's another, back thing that we're all dealing with, because they're in the midst of changing those values while still trying to uphold their core values that they established when they were a small mom and pop. And some of those things have sort of fallen through the cracks. A lot of us have seen it in the team that I'm a part of, that I recently became a part of. And we're trying to go through the process now with our board the board of that team. We're trying to go and not recreate, but reestablish and reaffirm those beliefs and those values. So this is going to be definitely an interesting year, because I'm officially a part of this team now. So I'm going to be figuring out how it works in that aspect, because I already know how it works on the surface level, where everything happens, where all the production happens, where my job's at.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be seeing what is sort of behind backstage on certain things. So we'll see.
Yeah. I already have a sugar high, and I've eaten one piece of candy.
Dude, like I said, I've been up since 3 a.m. So this sugar is unfortunately not affecting me at all. And I've had what, 2 cups of coffee, an energy drink, and then I'm still going out tonight. Oh,
Yeehaw!
Woohoo! Yeah. So, my turn.
Yeah, pick something.
Oh. All right, what question you got for me, buddy? Don't put me.
Okay, so I was watching back through our last.
These are my dad's favorite, by the way.
They're pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
They're up there with my favorite like sweet cookie.
Yeah.
Because I ended up getting all like the clearance candy.
Yeah.
And I was walking down aisle and I was like, this bag of cookies looks better than all the candy I got. But
you can't go wrong with these though. They're classic.
Yeah. And I was like, I had to dedicate myself to the bit of eating Valentine's Day candy. And so I got the Valentine's.
They're like, it's technically not even Valentine's
candy. I know,
candy.
it's not.
This is good.
Yeah.
It's going way against what I'm supposed to be eating.
Okay, so I was watching the part where you were talking about dating a little bit.
Okay.
And then you bring up and mention that like pretty often whenever you make something public, it like goes down the drain or like it tends to like
okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
And then I was like, there may be a 33% chance right now that you're secretly dating someone and you're like, if I let people know, it'll be ruined. So I'm here to confront you.
I'm being confronted.
Are you secretly dating anyone?
No, I am single. So this is my video, I guess, dating profile. Hi, my name is Sam Schmidt. I dress nice. I'm a good guy. I have a guy here to, confirm that or deny it. All right. I like to play pool. I like to be out in nature. I've had to show him how to fish on our camping trip with everybody. That was interesting. No, but yeah, anyway. So all joking aside, yes, I am single.
So if you want to submit your dating applications, create a Google Doc and drop the view link into the comments, and we will see if we can change that for you. And then it will change for you, and you still won't let us know because you want to keep it a secret. Well, at least there's a third chance.
There's a third chance.
There's a third of a chance.
There's a 33.3333% chance. No, okay, so yeah. No, anytime, so to correct that, it's anytime I make my feelings about the person I am seeing known to them and pretty much to anyone else, it inevitably just goes the opposite direction. Like, I'll let them know how I really feel, because you can confirm or deny this. I'm normally a very open person about what I'm feeling at a specific time, but as a defense mechanism, I sort of stay the same, like energetic, hyper type of a guy all the time. So it's sort of hard to see when I'm truly hurting because of something like this happening.
Yeah.
But what is it? Oh gosh.
I'll get you some candy hearts.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I love you too. I guess the last 5, I don't even know how to put this, 5 attempts of me saying that I really like this person, and specifically what the last one, I guess, really hurt the most. Thanks. My hero. You know when I see these, what immediately comes to my mind?
That one specifically?
No.
In general?
Just the candy itself.
No.
I was huge into Futurama. There's one episode where they have to pick up all these hearts, and the main character throws them into like a black hole and creates this huge conglomerate of colors with these candies.
That's awesome.
But no, my last 5 attempts, I guess. You can edit this out.
We'll keep it in.
Oh,
it's too much work.
Yeah, it's too much work. 5 attempts at trying to confront or like start a relationship. And the last one hurt the most. I mean, I'm not going to be dropping names or doing anything like that just because that's not cool.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself in the public eye, so it's just the last one hurt the most. I mean, you know who it was. You've talked to them. And it just, being completely honest, it still hurts. Still does, especially what I just saw on their social media page.
I haven't seen it. But...
Yeah, and I'll tell you after. But yeah, so it just immediately, as soon as I let that known, and it's just an immediate, and I guess it's something that I'm doing, but it's because I'm.
Well, everyone I think has different timelines and trajectories.
Yeah.
Just because there's like good overlap and energy doesn't mean that person X who's not looking for like in their head something and person Y looking for something else and makes it known. Like it's hard to know where the underlying motivations or interests are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those things where it's like no matter how well you like jam together and like it might be nice for a bit, it's one of those things where it's like only if you're heading like different directions, it's like almost nothing in amount of words or like ways you show up changes the fact that they're going towards point B and you're going towards point A.
Well, okay, so then answer me this. Why is it that after I let myself known and then they say that we need to like take a break and we don't talk for a while, I immediately see on their, not immediately, but I see on their social media pages that they are then in a relationship.
Because girls just like to have fun.
No, but see, that's the thing is like, I don't even know how to say it. I wear my heart out on my sleeve. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not a complete asshole. And I'm not mean to these girls.
Well, don't quit.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, buddy. But I'm not mean to them. I help them with a lot of different stuff. And it's just, I guess it's one of those things is, do I need to change? Do I need to be this asshole? Because that's what it automatically freaking sees. What I see is because I am a decent and a good guy, and I show up for these women when no one else will. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's too much. Oh, I can't handle this right now. I need a break. And then they're in a relationship with somebody else.
I've been pondering this one a little bit. That like we all need friends in our life, and they increase the quality of life and the emotional depth and give us good feelings through community. And there becomes this weird part around middle school, high school where like guys and girls just being friends becomes like more difficult.
Yeah.
And there becomes like this layer of additional attraction, but you also don't know in that time of life like how to communicate well. And so we don't really, I think, learn how to properly go down like a channel with someone that is more than a friend. And then also like, the fact that girlfriend people's minds automatically go to a dating person rather than just a friend that's a girl.
Yeah.
And I think you layer like that and that we don't explore that a lot growing up on top of just like how overly sexualized media is.
Yeah.
And I think it, from a young age, it like doubles down on the male side, like the depth of feeling. And I think on the flip side, like attraction is very different from the female end.
Okay.
And that it can be some parts whimsical. It's also often just the amount of time you spend with someone. And there's these other things. But I think because they don't have like the same like over sexualization growing up in their head, they want more just normal male friends. But then they often run into, why are all their normal male friends often also trying to date or like be more with them?
Okay.
And I think it from there probably just becomes like a person to person thing.
Yeah.
But I think at the ultimate like depth of that is that the timeline, like what are people looking for? And some of it could be saying one thing but like feeling another. It could be on some level like more whimsical or like playful in nature and not as serious. But all that to say that maybe we should get you a dating profile and get in the comments with your dating applications, because if from the forefront you're like, let's explore dating, then it's more like upfront and you don't have to maybe worry about this stuff as much.
Okay, well, let me rebuttal with that, because I've started these last three as friends. Okay. And then, just keep hanging out, doing stuff. Other stuff comes up where we kiss, and then, that moves forward into other things. And when I'm with them and then their friends, this has happened to me 3 times now. Their friends have said, holy shit, you two would be amazing together. That has happened to me 3 times. And inevitably, when I say, okay, you see we have something, I see we have something, your friends and my family all say that there is something amazing there, and then it just flips that, oh no, I need space. Honestly, I guess what I think it is because they have all these important people in their life saying, oh, go pursue this. They want to do the complete opposite. Oh, because my friends and family like this person. Oh no, that's not who I'm supposed to be with. That is what this has turned into in my head. And I want that thought process to change.
Rebel. For the Rebel Alliance. I'm Team Rebel Alliance.
No, but do you see where I'm coming from? Is like, why is it as soon as like friends and family saying, oh, you guys are going to be amazing together, you guys should pursue this, and it's their best friends that are telling you this.
I'm trying to think in my head, if I think anyone in our like D&D group or like friends would actually be a good gauge of like who would be a good partner for me.
Okay.
Just because like when it comes to like partnering in romance, it's such like a more like it's a part of side people don't normally see, and there's depths to it, but also like you often what you need is not something that, or like want, is something maybe you're sharing or truly sharing with some of those groups. And like
I unfortunately think with our immediate friend group, where me and you are together with them, we need to get them out of the D&D aspect and actually do something else with other people involved. And most of us being extremely introverted, that would be very difficult. I'm all for that. But I don't know how well they will, be open to doing something like that.
Yeah, and so like I don't know if many of my family and my friends knows me to the internal depths of like a romance partner does.
No, and that is because you're not opening yourself up to that emotional vulnerability to allow them to see that side of you.
Yeah, I don't know. But like if I had like friends and we were hanging out with someone like I had started dating or was exploring dating with,
Mm-hmm.
and they went up to me and like,
oh, she's awesome for you.
You're awesome for you or whatnot, I'd be like, I'd feel encouraged and good.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think it would change if I felt like my trajectory or like if my connection with someone, how far it might go. I don't know if, because that's like one of those things at a deep level I'm going to choose regardless. And I do feel like the internal rebel. I do, if someone in family said something, I might have the gut initial reaction to be like, do the opposite.
Okay.
I don't know where that comes from. We could probably have a video just on that, and I might end up in a puddle of emotions. So
that's fine. But
not,
yeah. But that's the thing where I'm coming from is why is that it's people's nature to do the complete opposite of what someone who says that they truly and deeply care for you, even when they have seen you in such an emotional state of being broken down. If they're saying, hey, you should give this a chance and see where it goes, why are you going to do the opposite immediately?
Maybe because you don't feel like complete yet and you're still discovering parts of yourself, so that the thought of that someone might know something that's good for you, but the fact that you yourself are still feeling like you're in the discovery process of yourself, you feel conflict for that, because if you were to like sit down with that person one-on-one and be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, what do you think's next for you in your love life or whatever? And like try to understand that person, maybe their answer is like, I'm not ready and I just want to go like date and around and like explore. But if it's more, if it isn't as that deep, and a lot of people don't ask those like deeper like questions.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy to pick up being like, oh, this person's like good for the version of your friend in your head, not them like to their core. And like a friend to their core can change over time.
Yeah.
So those are just like some thoughts that come to mind on the situation.
Okay. No, I completely understand that. I completely get it. But why do they immediately go into and start a relationship right after? When they say that, oh, I don't know what I want. Oh, guess what? I'm in a relationship.
Maybe they're into some crazy stuff.
I'm not getting into that one.
I don't know all the answers.
I know. But looping back, no, I am single. What about you? You're doing all of this.
Single and ready to mingle.
I was going to say, you are doing all of this like outreach stuff and going out and being with all of these amazing groups. Has anybody caught your attention? Has anybody tried to get your attention? What's going on in Braden's dating life? Do you have a dating profile out there, or?
People catch my attention and I'm attracted to them I generally just try to like start spending more time with them, see what the like interactions and warm feelings are.
Yeah.
Like I said last time, I tend to, especially if I'm doing like work or activism or like certain overlapping spheres, I don't try to like put it so bluntly or like out there.
Why? Is it the fear of rejection?
It could be part of that, and also like when it comes to like work, I think it's like weird if you're like
work, yes,
or
work,
like,
yes, I get that. Don't.
Okay.
It's that famous saying, "Don't shit where you eat."
And then like when it comes to like activism stuff, I feel like that's where my profession and career is heading.
Okay.
And so I don't want to
screw that up,
I guess. Mm-hmm. Or like as I'm accumulating goodwill and like building up stuff in my career path, I don't want to ever, and I'm probably like way overthinking it, but
no, that's fine. We all do that at some point in our life, or that's something that we all constantly still do.
Yeah. So lately I've just been doing online dating just because I like how like upfront it is. And
oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
And like within the last week or so, last 2 weeks or so, I started like actually trying to like message people, and like there's a right way and like a wrong way to do online dating.
Yes, yeah, there is. Some of the shit that my friends have said, like my single friends, and when I go meet them to play pool, or some of my other friends that I go hang out with, when some of the responses or some of the things that they have gotten is like, wow, you're sending that pic already, and that's the first thing you freaking say is just a picture of your. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that guys do on the dating app side that I'm like, what's going on here?
Well, that tells you at that point is that me and you are not looking for or focusing on the lust side of things, which is a lot of that those dating apps focuses around is the lust side of things.
The anticipation, the short term, that there's a potential for something short term.
The immediate gratification.
Yeah. And it doesn't work that way.
No.
If you go into it with that mentality, you're just going to like waste time and then feel bad about yourself.
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, I actually recently started I'm going to be completely honest. Okay. It's who I am. You know that.
Yeah, I have no idea where you're going.
Yeah. I recently downloaded a dating app. Not going to name which one it is.
Okay.
Starts with an H. There's a couple out there that start with an H, so let's see what the fuck happens. There are.
We all know here watching that the true love's going to come through the comment section, so.
No, but and I immediately, and I don't know why or what it is, because I started one when I first got dumped, that was 8+ years ago. Started one, and like they would go like a month without anything, and then finally one would come up, and then we would talk for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, or we would actually go out, and then all of a sudden, ghosted, done. So I stopped for a long period of time. And just recently, so that was when I was 22. Yeah, thank you for letting everybody know. Thank you for letting everybody know my freaking age. So when I was 22, and then all of a sudden, 8 years later, now that I'm 30, I am getting more and more likes on my page or my profile. And I just started the damn thing 2 weeks ago. But having more conversations with, these girls who are 25 and up to my age. heck, even as young as 22. And they're starting these conversations with me. And some of them are like, okay, I know what you're looking for. That's not really what I'm looking for at this time. So you go find somebody who's looking for that. Thank you. Then unmatch. It's literally happened in the span of 2 weeks. But I don't understand why I guess it's because of they see my age first. Because I am older. If that's a big factor to it. Because I'm, I don't know, set in my ways. Or I know who I am. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to like, because I know like comparing like my profile now versus like my profile when I was getting started, it's like very different. I think it's like more like kid-like photos and
that's the boy versus man thing I was talking about on the podcast.
Yeah. I like the sites where like it doesn't cost money to send someone a message and for them to see that message.
Yeah.
And so it's not about like some algorithm and like swiping match per se.
Okay.
But of like it gives you a pool of people to scan through, and then if you see someone that you might connect with, you can like send them a message.
Yeah.
And I've had luck with that plus having what I think is like a confident and profile that is maybe filled up more now because I have more life experiences.
And that has a lot to do with that, yeah.
Like pictures showing off my personality and whatnot. And when I do put time into like conversations and not looking for instant gratification, then I start conversations with people.
Yeah.
And then because the nature of it being a dating app, you're both there in more or less the same headspace.
You're also both weeding out what you don't want in a romantic partner.
Yeah, which helps save people time.
It does. It does. But at the same time, you know, guys versus girls, girls get way more likes and way more attention on their profiles than a guy does.
Yeah.
It's astronomical.
Yeah, I get like no people who message me like maybe like once every like quarter of a year.
Yeah.
But I'm sure on the flip side, ladies probably get like 30 messages a week.
Oh.
And it is it's kind of funny that that's the dichotomy, but whatever.
I mean, I've mentioned this to a friend before. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for saying this, but honestly, it's prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Men stay with or sleep with who they can. Women stay with or sleep with who they want.
Probably on averages.
What do you mean?
Like, if you take like a bell curve, it's like...
Well, yeah, okay, I get that, but of average men.
Yeah, most men aren't picky. They're mostly lonely and don't have that level of companionship and have a lot of experiences where they have tried and have fumbled through it, and that's left them with like
fear of rejection,
like little T traumas, or like has pushed them to not try as much and fear that and it's I think much easier for if you're wanting quick companionship for girl versus for guy.
Yeah.
There's that I forgot the name of the song, but it has the lyric where it's like, "You're just my type. You've got a pulse and you're breathing."
That's not a song, is it?
No, it's a song.
Oh, You're gonna have to find it and put it in the link of this video. Or like put it in the description of the video so they know what we're talking about. And I need to listen to that. That's okay.
And I'm like, for some guys, that's like that's a very morbid, like upfront way of putting it.
Oh, there are guys that I know of.
But some guys don't like. They might. Yeah, I don't think most guys really care. They might care a little bit more if it's like also something they have to like. If there's like friends around them, because then there's a whole like ego part of things that where you're like choosing being cool, like going back to the feeling cool versus just like
yes,
like
oh boy.
What matters more, like your like your wanting companionship or like not being razzed by friends for superficial reasons, and then that kind of just comes down to how big of a-holes are your friends. But growing up, that's like that's where like the bar is set is like beauty standards at like an 8, and the feeling that like you're a 6 but you're like emotionally available when you're growing up is still like something to be razzed about, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't even get that. I still don't get that scale thing. I really don't. I've never truly followed that. I mean, maybe when I was super young, but it's like, why did I even say that? That doesn't make any sense.
It also feels pretty bad.
When you're judging people like that on just a physicality of attractiveness, just judging them off of a number. Someone who's, okay, I'm going to play along. Someone who thinks that one person is like a fucking 2 is going to be a 10 for somebody else. It is all a matter of perspective, which is why I don't play that game. Me to be with somebody, I have to be, yes, physically attracted to you, but also emotionally attracted to you. That is like, there's a lot that goes into that emotional side. And once those two are set, I can decide for myself, do I want to pursue this? Or do I want to see if there's something else there? And that's when I dive into key values, beliefs, morals. What do you want for your life? Because those other things are really what matter. When the whole society is based off of just, I mean, look at our ads, man. When we mentioned it multiple times, everything is over-sexualized and is targeted towards a specific body type of an image. On both sides, men and women.
We still haven't touched physical health yet, and that was the original intention. We don't have to stick to original intentions because Team Rebel.
No. This was the bonus.
I know. This bonus has been it's been a long bonus.
That's fine. It's fine. Episode 2 starts now.
Really quick though, you said physical attractiveness, like emotional.
Yep.
How much does like spiritual beliefs do you think play into that?
Towards the specific person, it can matter a great deal. Someone there I've been to many different churches. I am spiritual in other ways. I don't outwardly say that I am a follower in this, a follower in that, or I believe in this or I believe in that, because I believe, and a lot of people believe the same thing that I do, but then there are a lot of those other people that it is a big thing for them. I believe, and I want to do me, right? I want to be able to have that connection with myself and what I believe in spiritually. And I do not need anyone else to truly know about it, because it's a communication between me and what I believe in spiritually. Now, there are a lot of people, even the last couple of weeks that I've been on this dating site. A lot of these girls I've been seeing is that Jesus Christ has to come first. And that's literally the basis, I guess. They have a lot of other things. I can't think of anything right now like what one particular said, but it is with a lot of different people, that is a very big key part, which, for them, depending on how they grew up or depending on what they've dealt with in life, depending on a lot of different factors, that could be what their foundation is. Whereas for my foundation is my family and how I was raised. And a lot of the times the spiritual and family values are intertwined in a specific faith, and that is their foundation.
Yeah.
So to a lot of people, that is a big thing. To me, my big thing is my family. I mean, you knew that. I've had to cancel multiple D&D sessions, or when we meet up, or cancel because something has happened with my family.
Yeah.
Something's going on with my family, or I'm late because of something with my family. They are a big part of my life, and have been. They have been that is what I focus on.
Yeah. I was going to say similar. It's like, for me, my spiritual connection is more centered in myself and in people, and connecting with people.
Yeah.
And seeing the brilliant and the wonderful things that can happen
that each individual brings
and what's possible together. Yeah. And then connection with planet, and just how bonkers and pretty things can be at times. Mm-hmm. And then there has to be some shared level of spiritual vibe on a spiritual level. Mm-hmm. Not saying that they couldn't have more ground cemented in a religion spirituality. Yeah. And then there is an interesting quote from one of my favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning.
I've seen that one. That's actually on my list of books to read.
It's pretty good. It's taught by a psychiatrist or psychologist who was doing studies in that field, and then World War II came around and ended up in a concentration camp. Okay. And so the first half of the book is some of how people coped and got through, and sought meaning and pushed on when they had almost nothing, including the smallest bits of hope. And then the second half of the book is some of the psychology studies and conclusions he's made when after he got released and then was able to go back to practicing. Yeah. And one of his quotes there is people often find meaning in a power greater than themselves, or the people in community and themselves that they find themselves. Yeah. And so that is one of those interesting ones where there isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer to that one. But I think one of those choices, you have the potential to bring more of the responsibility and the power to change things into your own hands versus leaving it to an outward power.
A higher power.
And I think on more of the macro zoomed out level, I think for many generations in certain areas of our country and the world, it has been left to an outward power that we've given up levels of autonomy to technically not that higher power, but like some of the structures that organize that power.
I'm sorry.
No, you've been up since 3. And unless
no, you're good. We can keep going.
Do you want to stop the bonus part, and then switch over to a health conversation?
Yeah, but I have one thing to comment on what you said is that there are a lot of people that think, and you know this, that think that their way is the only way on that spiritual side.
Yeah.
And that is where a lot of confrontation starts.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people get really hurt.
One of my biggest gripes and parts that make me antagonistic with a lot of religions is that in their doctrine, in their books, they often say that is the only way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we there are a lot of interpretations, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I guess believe in whatever you want to believe in. We're not going to judge you. Don't judge us for what we believe in. I mean, this is America, and we all have the right to believe what we want to believe in.
I think as long as you're not hurting anyone,
yes,
or taking away the rights of another,
yes,
I think you can believe in whatever you want to believe.
And don't force it on anyone else.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things. Is
yeah, I mean,
there would be a lot more, I think, good feelings and I think conversations happening if more people